Hello, everybody. It is your host, Suzanne Bunk, host of Trump Talk. Welcome to episode 10 of Trump Talk. We have a lot to talk about. I know you all have been probably keeping an eye on the news. So much going on, you guys. Let's get right to the top stories. Trump rally in Costa Mesa last night. Great rally. The speech was great. Protesters, violent protesters outside of the rally. Injured people, destroyed a woman's car while she was trapped in the vehicle, destroyed a police car. Basically a full meltdown riot. Now, I've been in the Chicago Trump riot, so I'm very familiar with what happens when law enforcement loses control of these crowds. And so to all of my California Trump people out there, I want to say I feel you. Go Trump. And stay strong. I know it's very disturbing to see what kind of aggression and violence the Trump haters are willing to go through. 20 plus people were arrested. There should have probably been more arrests because there was a great deal of just sort of letting the crowd do its own thing and dispersing it as cops are sometimes want to do. Now, today, at the California Republican Convention meet and greet, pre-breakfast speech, they had all the candidates come out. Protesters again blocked the entrance to the convention. Delegates to the convention were not able to get into the hotel. Again, there was a great deal of difficulty with police and aggression. A man was beaten up because he got sort of scooped away into an area all by himself. He had a Trump hat on. They beat him up. So this is what's going on in California. Trump had to be snuck in the back of the convention center, the back of the hotel, and snuck back out in order to avoid any contact with the protesters. And we were very glad that Trump did that. Nothing stops Trump. Which is great. But the violence needs to stop. We're going to talk about this in Trump Reason of the Day a little bit later. We need to restore the rule of law in this country. This kind of violence needs to stop. So if you have any California friends, make sure they're okay. Give them a little extra love. It's a rough week for them. In other news, Mike Pence endorsed Ted Cruz. But it was, as anyone who's seen the endorsement or seen the clip, the weirdest endorsement anyone has ever seen. He made a point to particularly commend Trump for giving a voice to millions of people who are frustrated with the status quo and nothing getting done in Washington. So if you get a chance to watch it, don't knee-jerk, go, oh, it's Cruz endorsement. Go ahead and watch the Mike Pence endorsement because it is, in my opinion, equally endorsing of Trump, equally positive of Trump. He says he will be voting for Ted Cruz, but he says he's not telling anybody else to do that. So, pretty sure the establishment put some pressure on Mike Pence to go ahead and come out there for Cruz, as they are working hard to skew the polls in Indiana. Right now, many polls have us 41, 32, 33 with Cruz. There is the Real Clear Politics average has narrowed 37.5 to 35.2. Now, I clear my throat a little bit because there's one poll they've included in the average of a small poll of 400 people. When you notice they do small samples, that's when they can manipulate it most effectively. Miraculously showed Cruz automatically up, all of a sudden, by 19 points over Trump. So this one outlier, when you average it in, changes the overall Real Clear Politics average of the polls so that they can say the polls are tightening. The polls aren't tightening, but Indiana, you need to get out and vote. You need to get out there and make sure you check your ballot. Be very, very aware of everything going on Election Day. We don't want any shenanigans. It's very important that you get out there and vote. We're doing great in the delegate count. We're going to talk about that next. But we need every delegate we can get. And we need to hand Cruz a decisive defeat in Indiana so that we can move on with this campaign and take on Hillary Clinton, who we have to beat in November. So, let's talk about the delegate count. 1,002! We are so close. We're getting there. 235 delegates left to go. It is very likely with New Jersey, Indiana, California, if we pick up some of the delegates in some of those other proportional states, we are easily going to make 1237, if not higher. So, if your state has not yet had a primary, write down voting day on your calendar. Make sure you get out to the polls. We need Trump to get as many of the delegates as possible. We want to keep the momentum going. Trump. It's real important. I want to talk a little bit about going forward into the general election. There has been some talk about Bernie supporters coming over and voting for Trump. And more you might find Trump saying things slightly positive about Bernie or about Bernie's ideas designed to lure over the Bernie supporters. And this is not waffling. This is strategy. It is a great strategy because polls are already showing that up to 15% of Berners right now today openly are saying they will cross over and vote for Trump. And those numbers only will go higher and higher as Bernie stays in the race and keeps hitting Hillary Clinton. What we want to do is get the hashtag Never Hillary on the left to come join us with the hashtag Never Hillary on the Trump train. So, if you have some Berner friends, and I like to always talk about how to elect Trump. If you have some Berner friends, lure them. Find the points that Trump talks about campaign finance reform. Find the point that Trump talks about making government accountable. Tell these things to the Berners. Use their language if you can, because they will come over and vote for Trump because they're just as mad with the status quo as the rest of us. So I know it's always exciting to get in it with the Berners on your page, but try to share some Trump facts because we're gonna take those votes. We're gonna take the union vote. We're gonna take a bunch of demographics the Democrats are used to getting, and that's how we're gonna win in November. So if Trump can woo the Berners, so can we. Great. Let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about, speaking of Hillary, speaking of the head-to-head race with Hillary, 2 polls are now showing Trump either tied or tied statistically with Hillary Clinton. The Rasmussen poll, 38% to 38%, Trump, Hillary. The George Washington University poll has Hillary at 46, Trump at 43. The margin of error is 3.1%. So these are now 2 polls showing Trump and Hillary, as I've been saying all week, Hillary going this way, Trump this way. So keep your eye out for that. Keep checking the polls. We're going to keep reporting on it here as we get closer and closer to locking up this nomination and getting into the general. These polls are going to go so Trump. It's not even funny. Now, let's talk about my little thing I like to do. Trump reason of the day. Trump reason of the day. Rule of law. I know you have all seen some of the footage of the protesters in California. Many of the protesters are waving Mexican flags. Many of the protesters are openly claiming that they are illegals. Many of the protesters are breaking rules, smashing cars, being violent because we in this country have gotten off of enforcing the rule of law. We are leaving our law enforcement kind of stranded out there, dealing with crime, dealing with these violent offenders, and we continue to go after police and weaken their resolve to enforce the rule of law. But you know who supports the police? Trump. And you know who supports the rule of law? Trump. So, my reason of the day to vote Donald J. Trump. If you believe that blue lives matter and you want this country to be restored to the rule of law where we enforce our laws, you need to vote for Donald J. Trump. Okay, there are some rallies coming up. Let's talk about that. Sunday at 1 p.m. in Terre Haute, Indiana. Stream that if you can on Right Side Broadcasting Network, rsbn.tv. They do a great job of streaming everything Trump, and they usually have all the shows afterwards. So if you miss it, get on rsbn.tv. You'll find it there. Fort Wayne, Indiana, Sunday, 4 p.m. And then Monday, South Bend, 7 p.m. We all know Tuesday is election day. So Indiana, Get out there, stick it to Cruz. All of us on the Trump train are so tired of these Cruz bots and their delusions, and we just cannot wait till you in Indiana stick it to them. So, Indiana, stick it to them. Let's do a little thing I like to call Best of the Trump Train. This Best of the Trump Train goes out to John Paprika, I think. Paprika of Maryland, whose daughter was mocked because she supported Trump at her class. And in order to help his daughter get over that, he wanted to show her that it is okay to support your candidate. It is okay to support your choice and to have free speech. And he did this wonderful little thing. Here, you can see it. He built a giant Trump sign on his roof. Giant orange Trump sign. Love it. Love it. Love it. And what I love most about this and why it's Best of the Trump Train today is because it encouraged Grayson to support, to be excited about politics, to not be discouraged when haters shut you down. And that is a good message for the youth of today. A lot of kids, a lot of young people, a lot of teenagers love Trump. You want to get those kids and hug them because these are the future voters of America, and we want to make sure that they know how to vote. And if they like Trump already, it's a good start. So, folks, that is the show. Remember, Delegate Count 1002. If you would like to contact us, you can reach us at trumptalkus@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Trump Talk US. I am at Trumpertarian on Twitter. You can go ahead and follow me there. You can also just go and find all of our YouTube videos at trumptalk.us. We put all the shows up there. And, oh, by the way, order my book on Amazon. The Semi-Essential Trump Supporters 2016 Election Survival Guide, $3.99 on Amazon. Go ahead and pick that up. It'll give you a few chuckles. It'll help you get through the election season. And until then and until tomorrow, folks, you know what I know? The best man for the job to make America great again, Donald Trump. And that's our show. Being a little Trumpy. Out. Vote Trump.